So I will jump in. Good afternoon, everybody. It is an honor, as it always is, to be in Newark. Second time this week for me. I'm honored to stand with Mayor Baraka, and I'm honored to be with him and his exceptional team working on this water challenge, along with a big team from our shop, including Commissioners Catherine McCabe and Acting Commissioner Judy Persicelli from DEP and Health, respectively. I also want to acknowledge, in addition to the mayor's team, Assemblyman Ralph Caputo and Assemblywoman Cleopatra Tucker. So thank you for being with us, and to the health team for hosting us here today. As you can see, I don't have prepared remarks, but I wanted to make a couple of points. I think the mayor wants to make a couple of points, and then we'll throw it open to a few questions. And I guess I'd start with sort of a core principle that everybody, young and old, big and small, regardless of where you are in this state, in this community, certainly in Newark, in this country, clean water is a right, not a privilege, for everybody. And we believe that with great passion. And that guides our actions and our steps that we're taking. Secondly, while this current chapter began in more earnest on Friday night, the mayor and his team and our administration, and I have to say we have worked seamlessly together. There's been no daylight between us, and it will remain that way. And I can't say enough good things about the mayor's leadership. We've been working on this for quite some time. So this is a current chapter, which we're taking very seriously. But this is something that we've been working on. So you can go back to moments in time. I'd go back to the mayor's, among other steps, in recent history, the mayor's announcing a 10-year program to deal with replacing of the lead pipes. And we are honored as a state to have put double-digit $1 million behind that this year. The beginning of the orthophosphate steps, which I believe began in May of this year. Catherine will correct me, or the mayor, and that's showing promise. Too early to tell, but that's sending a constructive chemical through the system. It's now beginning to come out the other end, and the objective is that would form a prophylactic on the inside of the pipes over time and prevent the lead leaching that comes out of these pipes. And so we are, those are two steps of many. We have, the state is and has been and will continue to stand right side by side with the mayor and his team, and we will do all that we can to get this as right as fast as we can. That includes, the EPA Friday night, and I'll come back to them in a second, said we think you need to provide bottled water. I'm proud to say that as of Monday of this week, we were doing just that in scale. Again, importantly for the people who are impacted from the Pequannock water source, and that's an important point. This is not the entire community. It is those residences that are impacted. A couple of other points I wanted to make, Mayor. We take this very seriously. We want to be out ahead of this, but it's also based on 3 data points. And so the city has been using the pure water filter, which was approved by the EPA, and that's the reason why they're using it. And so I think all of us believe that we need to have a lot more data to understand the exact trajectory here. 3 data points, one of which was positive, 2 of which were negative, and including of the 2 that were negative, there was another filter that was privately acquired by the homeowner, and that actually had turned out to have had addressed the lead levels to the level they need to be addressed. As Catherine McCabe will point out, even in the 2 quote-unquote negative results, the lead had come down dramatically, just not enough. And that's something that we obviously take very seriously. We will do everything we can. I know the mayor is doing everything we can. We need the federal government to do their share and to punch their weight. Commissioner McCabe will meet with the commissioner of the EPA tomorrow in Washington and further their discussions. She's in very close discussions, as the mayor and his team have been, with the regional administrator, and this is now going to the head of the EPA. We need the federal government in many respects to step up, whether it's, we don't have an unending supply of water bottles is one area. And by the way, in that respect, I want to give a shout out to Anheuser-Busch, to Pepsi, who's represented here today, to faith-based organizations and other organizations that have said, we're going to help and contribute and augment the state's emergency operations supply of water bottles. And we thank each and every one of them. We're working out the logistics of exactly how that gets done. The bigger, longer-term reality, this isn't just a Newark issue within the state of New Jersey, and it isn't just a New Jersey issue. We need the federal government, and I want to thank our congressional leadership across the board. I spoke to Senator Booker last night. I was with Chairman Pallone last night. We need the federal government also to be the main actor in the long-term fix in America, not just in Newark or New Jersey, in terms of replacing and having a water infrastructure renaissance. And that is a step in the long term we need the federal government to take. So I'd ask folks, we've got flyers that are going out. I got one of them in my pocket. It's every phone number. This is from the Department of Health. University Hospital stepping up. You saw the folks downstairs who are doing an extraordinary job. The mayor reminded me that they have basically replaced filters with bottles of water. So they've got this down, and you saw downstairs. A particular shout out to pregnant moms, pregnant women, women who are nursing, kids who are 6 and under, particularly infants. We would explicitly want to ask if you're in one of the affected areas to make sure that you're using bottled water until further notice. We're, again, you could see we're pursuing lots of different avenues here. We take this, I know the mayor takes this extremely seriously. Again, the values for us is that everybody, it's a right, not a privilege, to have clean, safe water, and we are committed to that. And so there are near-term steps that we are pursuing, and then there are longer fixes that we will all collectively need to get together, and that includes not just the Newark or New Jersey long-term fixes, but American fixes as it relates to water infrastructure. So thank you for having us, Mr. Mayor. With that, we'd love to turn it over to you.
Sure.
God bless.
Thank you. So I just want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank the governor, obviously, for his time, his commitment to the city. Obviously, Commissioner McCabe, who's been with us from the very beginning on this thing at the NJDEP, Department of Health, who's also been with us here in the city of Newark. This is something we've been dealing with for over a year now. It looks like it just happened yesterday, but we've been dealing with this for over a year in our city. And it's important for us to get the right information out because there's been a lot of misinformation given out. So we want to make sure we get the right information out for health purposes. I live in the city. I use a pure water filter in my home to filter my water in my own house. My mother lives in the city of Newark. She uses a pure water filter. The other members of my family live here, and they also use these water filters. So this is very, very, very personal and important to us here in the city of Newark. I think what the governor has said is very clear. Since we discovered that our corrosion control might have been losing its effectiveness, we began to introduce a new chemical, which is an orthophosphate, into the water, into the Pequannock system. Newark has a little over 18,000 lead service lines in the city. We, at this date, have maybe given out about 39,000 pure water filters, to mitigate those households that have lead service lines. Every home, every building, every place in the city does not have a lead service line. Everyone does not have a lead service line. Unfortunately, some people do. And people that have them and live in the Pequannock water system are being affected by this a great deal. And so it's important for us to make sure we get them the right information, right, and make sure that we get them a filter. It's easier for us to distribute the water because we've already put a system in place to distribute filters. As I told the governor, we just replaced the filter for the water, and we're able to distribute it to people in a very seamless kind of fashion. Because of the water department and Kareem Adim's leadership and all of the folks In my shop, we were able to get these filters out in a very short period of time, and we presume we should be able to do the same thing with the water. We do want to let people know we're taking precautionary measures. The city of Newark, in testing their orthophosphate, trying to make sure that it was actually getting into the system, making sure that it was actually working, began also looking at some of these filters. We went to 3 homes with the help of the EPA. We tested 4 water filters in 3 homes. 2 of those water filters came back where the lead was not reduced to a level that we were comfortable with. One of the houses did, in fact, have that. As a precautionary measure, we all got together with the EPA. The EPA made its suggestions. We talked through that. We wanted to be able to put a system together. We were able to do it on Monday to distribute water until we figure out what's happening. We absolutely do not have enough information one way or another to determine whether the filters are working or not. In the meantime, we're going to give out water until we're able to make those determinations. 3 data sets is absolutely too small when you're talking about 38 to 40,000 filters that were given out in the city.